It's quite ironic when you think about it. We set big, ambitious goals, but our own mindset becomes the biggest roadblock. It must be perfect. It's too late. This isn't worth it. These are just some of the thoughts that keep us stuck in the exact spot we're trying to escape. Trust me, I've been there, stuck, drained, watching opportunities slip through my fingers. But then something changed. I started thinking in a way that actually got me moving. Suddenly, progress felt easy. Here's what we often forget. Thinking is a skill. Just like you can get better at running, speaking, or coding, you can train your brain to think better in a way that actually works for you. In the next few minutes, we'll explore 5 powerful mindset shifts that work together to help you reclaim control and make your time really count. They're simple changes, and I mean genuinely simple, that you can make in 2 seconds to shift your brain from passive mode to action mode. But first, it's important to understand the concept of neuroplasticity. For years, scientists thought the brain was a fixed machine once we hit adulthood. But in reality, it's more like a super flexible muscle, constantly reshaping itself based on what we repeatedly do. This ability to rewire itself is called neuroplasticity. Every single thing you do, say, or think sends signals through your brain. The more you repeat something, the stronger those connections become, creating neural pathways. These pathways shape your habits and thought patterns, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you keep telling yourself you're not good enough at something, your brain locks onto that message and, well, makes it reality. But, and this is important, you can change it. You just need to notice those thought patterns, reframe them, and repeat. Little by little, your brain starts rewiring itself to support the thoughts and habits you actually want. Think of it like this. Your brain is like a dense forest full of trails. Every time you think in a new way, you're carving out a fresh path through the trees. At first, it's tough, like hacking through thick brush, but the more you use that path, the clearer and easier it gets. Meanwhile, the old, unhelpful trails fade from lack of use. Now let's dive into how to design our mindset for maximum productivity. Part 1. From fixed to growth. You know that tiny voice in your head? The one that whispers, "You don't know how to do this," the second you step outside your comfort zone? Yeah, that little thought pattern is a thief, and it's robbing you blind, stealing your confidence, hijacking your motivation, and convincing you that staying safe is a solid life plan. Whether it's tackling a difficult task, learning something new, or launching something big, boom. Self-doubt kicks in. Suddenly, your brain runs a full-blown catastrophe simulation, complete with failure montages and a dramatic soundtrack. And just like that, you shut down. Not because you can't do it, but because you believe you can. This is the fixed mindset trap, where effort feels pointless, and the comfort zone becomes a padded cell for your potential. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen inside your comfort zone. It happens when you push past it, expanding it, step by step, through continuous learning. So, next time you face something unfamiliar, like a new productivity tool, pay attention to your thoughts. If the classic, "I don't know how to do this" pops up, don't let it shut you down. Flip it. Ask instead, "How can I learn this?" That tiny reframe shifts your brain into action mode. Suddenly, you're not stuck. You're a detective, hunting for solutions. You look for resources, ask questions, and try to figure it out. And before you know it, that thing that once felt complicated, it's just another skill in your toolbox. Part 2. From consumer to creator. Ever found yourself lost in the black hole of social media, scrolling like a zombie? Or maybe you've binge-read 3 self-help books and applied exactly 0 of their life-changing wisdom. Congrats, you've just joined the Consumer Mindset Club, where knowledge goes to retire and ideas die a slow, quiet death. Here's the deal. Consuming is easy. Your brain loves it. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet of information, and you're stacking your plate higher than at Thanksgiving dinner. But what happens next? Nothing. Because the consumer mindset whispers, "What else can I take in?" instead of "What can I create?" But here's the thing. If you're anything like me, you'd rather spend more time creating than just consuming. The creator mindset flips the focus from input to output. You still take in information, but instead of letting it pile up, you use it. You don't just watch a video, you make one. You don't just read, you write. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, you take an idea and remix it into something fresh. And in a world designed to keep people passively consuming, choosing to create is practically a revolutionary act. Algorithms want you glued to the screen, not out there making things happen. But you're here to break the cycle. So next time you're about to slip into autopilot consumption, pause. Ask yourself, how can I use this? What can I make from it? The first step doesn't have to be massive. Maybe you share an idea, write a post, or sketch a rough draft. Maybe you take the plunge and launch something wild. Whatever it is, just start. Part 3, from perfection to progress. How many hours have you wasted perfecting something that, in the end, barely mattered? Maybe it was a presentation, a project, or an idea you spent forever fine-tuning, only to look back and think, why did I waste all that time? We've all been there. Perfectionism is a sneaky little devil. It's a blessing because it pushes you to be your best, but it's also a curse, trapping you in the need for everything to be just right and leaving you scrambling at the last minute. Here's the thing. The mindset of, if it's not perfect, it doesn't count, is the fast lane to burnout. It sets impossible standards and leaves you frustrated. You get so caught up in making every tiny detail flawless that you miss the bigger picture, progress. But progress is what actually matters. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a win. That's what keeps you moving. That's the fuel for your fire. So next time you're working on something, say prepping for a presentation with just 3 hours to go, shift your thinking from "it must be perfect" to "what does good enough look like?" Suddenly you're free to move forward, free to make mistakes, free to take action. This shift isn't about lowering standards, it's about embracing mistakes as part of the process instead of fearing them. Because in the end, the people who make the biggest progress aren't the ones who get it perfect every time. They're the ones who keep showing up and getting better. Part 4, from planning to experimenting. Getting started is always the hardest part. We've all been there. You've got a great idea, but actually taking the first step, that's the real challenge. It's like standing on the edge of a diving board, staring at the water below thinking, what if I mess up? So naturally, you plan, and then plan some more. You tell yourself, I need the perfect plan before I start, or I need more info first, or even once I commit, there's no turning back, so I better get this right. But here's the thing. Perfect plans don't exist. By the time you finally start, you'll probably realize your perfect plan needs a complete overhaul. And guess what? You just wasted a ton of time overthinking something that was never going to work exactly as planned. What you really need isn't more planning, it's more doing. So next time you're about to start something, whether it's a business idea or a personal project, shift from "I need a plan before I start" to "let's run an experiment." Put on your scientist hat and treat every action like a test. Fail fast or figure out what works quickly. It's about testing small things, getting feedback, and adjusting as you go. That's where the real progress happens. For example, let's say you want to try a new fitness routine, like running. Instead of committing to it forever, set a goal for the next 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, evaluate. If it didn't work for you, ditch it. If you loved it, keep going. It's not about being right or committing forever. It's about gathering data and pivoting if needed. Taking action is the best teacher, so start making small experiments and adapt as you go. Part 5, from scarcity to abundance. Ever caught yourself thinking, there's never enough? Not enough time, not enough money, not enough opportunities to hit your goals. That's the scarcity mindset talking. Keeping your focus on what's missing instead of what's possible. You don't look for a better job because you assume there aren't enough good ones. You hesitate to invest in a tool, course, or hobby, afraid of wasting money. You hold back from sharing knowledge at work, worried someone else will take the credit. No matter how much effort you put in, this mindset keeps you stuck, playing defense instead of chasing what's actually out there. Scarcity makes you think life is a tiny, sad pie, one where if someone else gets a bigger slice, you're stuck with crumbs. But here's the truth. The pie isn't fixed, it can grow. People create resources and opportunities every day. And the ones out there winning? They're just baking bigger pies. Shifting to an abundance mindset means focusing on possibilities, not limitations. Instead of panicking over what you don't have, you start asking, what can I do with what I've got? No time to finish the project? Reframe it. Today the project comes first. The presentation can wait. No money to start a business? Shift to, how can I use what I've got to get started? Worried the competition took all the clients? Try, how can we collaborate and win together? Abundance isn't about ignoring reality, it's about hacking it. Opportunities and resources aren't reserved for some exclusive club. You have a seat at the table.